transfer was per car. Usually,
Well,
per
it has to be
dollar.
for one and only.
Right.
Just has to be for consideration.
Yeah, so I was just like, because I didn't copy, but I asked. That's who? Yeah, you will. See, right from work.
Okay.
I actually worked on 3 of the jobs today.
No, but I was like, sometimes I never asked the question, so I reached out to. And the answer I got was 35,000 is the lowest the title insurance will go, that's why they use it.
Yeah.
Okay, that works.
Yeah,
I said, I can't buy you on it, I said, I have no idea.
Anyway.
I was just like, okay.
There wasn't any.
All right, let's begin our regular meeting. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, roll call.
Sarah Conley.
Here.
Rebecca Anderson. Here. John Colfax.
Here.
Anthony Gorski.
Here.
Joseph Keith.
Here.
Lawrence Korzenski. Here. Michael Wright.
Here.
Okay, welcome, everybody. I think you know the drill, but just in case, we are an advisory body, a recommending body, and not a final decision-making board. We ask that anybody wishing to make comment do so in writing. And often there is times for a public hearing where you can make your voice known. A couple administrative items, and we'll get to our agenda. Let's look at the minutes from November 16th. Are there any additions, deletions, comments regarding the 11/16/22 meeting minutes?
I have one. Under the Tool Ranch project, it states no SWIP is required. That was the applicant's position. That hasn't been decided yet.
Anything else? All right, can I have a motion to approve the minutes as modified?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Communications for today? If you haven't had a chance, please take a minute to read the letter from Chief Karn. Everybody should have a copy of that. All right, any other questions regarding the communications? All right, we have 2 seekers. First one is a local law amending the town code related to certain zoning approvals under section 400 to clarify the time for an applicant to request an approval extension. I believe this is considered a type 1?
Yes.
Yes. I'm pretty confident there are no environmental impacts. If there's no objection, I would just go to a motion without going through everything. Is there any problem with that? Any legal problems with that? Okay. All right, then I'm going to move for a negative declaration for that local law.
One second.
Thank you. On the question, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, second one, local law amending subsection 438 for D, approval of minor subdivision, planning board recommendation. approval of preliminary plat of major subdivision, filing of a final plat, and adding model homes and building permits. We talked about this at previous meetings. So, same idea here. If there are no objections, I will move for a negative declaration.
I'll second it.
Okay, on the question? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, site plan review for Edgewater East. How you doing?
How are you?
Good, haven't seen you in a while.
It's been a while, yeah. Peter Sorgi on behalf of the applicant Young Development.
John Barniak with Permanent Design and Civil Engineer.
So I think we were here, John was here in October just with a concept review. It was the first time you had seen the plan. We've since have submitted the application. Just a brief overview. It's obviously multifamily, 5 buildings, each of which is 2-story, each of which contains 10 units on the corner of Broadway and Pavement, is what we're looking to do. We do need some variances for the Zoning Board of Appeals. It is an unlisted action pursuant to seeker, but we know the town wants to do a coordinated review. So at the very least tonight, we would ask that you make a recommendation that the town board assume lead agency and send out the lead agency notice to the involved and interested agencies. We can certainly go through the project, but if you have any questions, please let us know. I know you haven't really seen too much of it. We do have engineering comments as well as comments from the code enforcement officer that we will be addressing.
All right, so we're still too early in the process for these comments to be addressed at this time?
Yeah, we just received them this
Okay,
week, so yeah.
good, that's good.
I do have a quick question before you start. What kind of variances do you need?
Well, one is a density variance. We need, the density here is 47 is allowed. We're asking for 50. And the reason we're asking for that is because they're each, if we had to comply, we would have to, have one of the buildings be smaller or somehow go from there. So it's just simply 3 units. We'll be applying to the Zoning Board of Appeals for that. Do you want to go over just the rest of the variances in the
Yeah,
plan?
the second variance is a front parking setback. It's right here on the corner, just access to this front garage. And the third variance was a fence variance for the height of the dog park fence. 4 foot proposed. I think the code is 3 feet.
3, yeah.
So if you made one building smaller, you wouldn't need 2 variances.
Correct.
Sounds good to me.
Oh,
Well,
You see
I
that.
agree with him. You're talking about maybe making them smaller and not needing variances.
No,
My-
if they make one building smaller, they don't need the setback variance,
Right.
and they don't need the density variance.
Right. And my issue is that you're taking out about a half acre of woods up in the corner. And, yeah, we just had what was River Keepers here. We're talking about our mapping of our wooded and forested areas in Lancaster, and the value of them is huge. And you take them out, and then you're adding to your stormwater, you're reducing small amounts of habitat, not huge, but it connects to other wooded areas, and if you made your building smaller, you might be able to avoid most of that. You might be able to reduce some of your stormwater, I don't know about that, but you're taking out quite a bit of woods, and then you're coming in with a landscaping plan that, in my opinion, is pathetic. You've got a few pines, but you're taking out those woods and then all these other scattered trees. And you've got a lot of one species of pine coming in to replace a mixed wooded area. You've got the normal, typical landscaping around the buildings that is just leaves nothing to be imagined. It's pretty straight, but you're just putting in some,
what type of landscaping would not make it?
well, the native
That's our
species for
goal,
one
yeah.
thing, pollinator gardens and maybe some garden areas that collect runoff and do some infiltration and do something that's not just a pond in the corner and grass. I mean, I think if you reduce the size of the building, you might be able to avoid your variances and do something a little more innovative. The dog park area is a dog park. You're gonna need something with drainage there, and even though people are supposed to pick up after their dogs, they don't, so now you got water pollution. I know, but a lot of people don't.
Actually, my wife does.
Even in the dog park. I was just at a dog park recently where they had a garbage can where everybody puts the bag poop in, and then that didn't get picked up. So you've got some maintenance. So anyway, that's my complaint, is that you're taking it, the area that had been the Smith farm was disturbed, and I get that. You've got a little garage building but you've got a lot of trees that are scattered that aren't, maybe they're not fabulous species, but
Most of them are ash, I believe.
well, you have a lot of poplar listed on your list, and there's a difference
There's a
between
big
poplar and ash. They're not the same thing. So the ash you can tell because they're dead. But up in the wooded area, when I drove by a couple days ago, I mean, it's hard to tell because the leaves are off, but it looked pretty good to me. So I'd like you to rethink some of that.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything else? Ed, any comments?
No, you got my letter?
Got it.
Yeah, I mean, I had a question on the dog park area, stormwater collection. There wasn't any shown in the dog park area.
Oh, just runs off into who knows what.
Well, that's what it looked like, it was just flowing to the north. And then my only other comment was on the dumpster area, they have lawn. My question was, is that sufficient for that size development? But, you know, it's all the way to one end of the development. The guy that lives there.
Haven't calculated the number of units and the amount of trash they generate.
And this was more from, you know, somebody that lives along pavement's gotta walk the entire length of the development to get to the dumpster.
Where's the dumpster? Central? Yeah, we could look at maybe just, I mean, I don't know if we want 2 dumpsters just because it's 2 instead of 1 in terms of, but maybe we can put it in a more central location.
Yeah, just a thought from a convenience, that was all.
Under the waste management process that's, that they have in place in other facilities, I mean, this is not the first 50-unit project around. So I'm sure that it's normal practice to carry your trash at a distance to get to the stuff.
Matt, we have your comments. Anything else you want to say?
No, nothing outside of that, a couple of the variances.
Okay.
Pedestrian traffic, I guess, is the one. Pedestrian traffic along the state and county road. I mean, we just went through an intersection revitalization project. We have audible, we have video, or visual, painted crosswalks, no sidewalks. So we introduced sidewalks. There's going to be development in the area. We have a golf course to the south side of Broadway. Eventually, people are going to walk. The apartment complex, there's one to the north of it, another one to the west of it, and an awesome park just on the other side of the railroad tracks. So I would imagine you're going to have some pedestrian traffic heading in that direction. May not be sidewalks now, but there may be a need for sidewalks soon. Sooner than we think.
Yep, I agree. Well, I have one more question. Were these market rate units?
Okay, if nothing else, can we have a motion to
Table?
table?
I'll
Well,
make a motion.
I think I don't know if you formally need a motion just to recommend that the town board become lead agency, or they just do it on their own.
We do not generally do that.
We should probably get in the habit of...
Councilman Mazer, you have I don't have a problem with that, but it's not the process that we've
I mean, if we
ever
did-
used, as far as I know.
We probably should, though.
I mean, if we do a coordinated review and they don't, technically, DEC or someone else outside the town could become lead agency. So I think it's just good that the town wants to take that role. And it would have to be the town board, since you're recommending you can't do it. The zoning board could do it too, obviously, but it would be better to be for the town board, obviously.
Any problems with that?
Well, on a project like this, I can't imagine any other agency wanting to touch seeker with a 10.
No, I know, it's kind of,
So,
But somebody's got to ask for it, and if, you know, if no one asks for it, then it's individual seeker reviews by every board.
They say it's unlisted, so it's outside of
I mean, it is unlisted, you don't have to do a coordinated review, but I know the town's practice is to do
We-
so.
until after we have final site plan.
we usually do.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
This would be coordinated, wouldn't it? Even though it's on the,
Yeah, we'll coordinate it.
Yeah,
We
it's a
coordinate everything like this.
Right.
Just as a matter of course anyways, because we want comment.
Yeah.
But I don't think we can send this in until after we have final site plan approval anyways, or at least the recommendation.
we're not there yet.
Because if the plans end up changing, then we just have to send it back in again.
We're not there yet.
If they change substantially, you would have to send, check
Well,
it.
we've got a request in front of you for fewer units and less,
yeah, we've had some issues in the past where
Sure.
we thought coordination had begun
And then you-
based on our review, and it did not, because the town board wants more information.
Okay.
So I guess we will not be able to do that. All right, so we have a motion to table.
we have a motion to
Did we
change.
get a second
I'll second.
on the question? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carried. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
When
Merry
you come
Christmas.
back, I'd like to see what we've talked about.
All right, Pine Hill Estates, 611 Pavement Road.
Finish them up.
Yeah, you could give me the folder on that.
Only for the second.
Oh, I see it on here.
That one's that one.
That one's that one.
How are you?
Good. Good evening, everybody.
Hey, Mike.
Hi. For the record, my name is Michael Metzger with Metzger Civil Engineering, 8245 Sheridan Drive, Williamsville, New York. And with me tonight is my client, Tim Burden. As you know, we were here back on September 21st, where you approved the sketch plan. I have here the sketch plan mounted on one board, and then I have the preliminary plat mounted on another, just so you can see it's exactly the same. We have submitted the preliminary plat with all the engineering information, and it's currently being reviewed by the various departments. And as I mentioned, it is consistent with the sketch plan. We didn't change anything. We're in the seeker review process, and one thing that we have to do is an archaeological study, but it's somewhat of a limited archaeological study. Office of State Parks and Historic Preservation, who controls archaeology, they have asked for a Phase 1A study, which is kind of unusual. They usually ask for a Phase 1A and 1B. They have indicated to us, and the difference between the two, a Phase 1A study is basically a document search. Look at records to see if there's any records of anything on the property. What they've told us they're specifically interested in is that little cemetery.
Cemetery?
Yeah, there's that little cemetery that's on Peppermint, adjacent to the road. And they just want to see if there's any records of anything to back that up, or see if there's anything larger than that there. They have not asked for a 1B, which is actually a field survey, where we go out and dig the holes and look for things. They're not really expecting anything there, especially because it's a mine. You know, it's a surface mine. But they want to have a little bit more information on that, but we're in the process of having that done. Once we have that done, we'll take a look to see if any of the involved agencies had any comments regarding seeker, and we'll address those before coming back and asking you to take some form of action on seeker. One notable item is that this was an active mine. There was still an open permit, and that has been closed. We received on November 17th a letter from the DEC stating that they have accepted the reclamation work that was done and Mr. Burton did, and so that is closed out. It's no longer an active mine.
Do we have a copy of that letter at the town?
Possibly not.
Okay.
I'll make sure I get that
Sure, we'll
over.
need one. I know you want one.
We have it.
Matt
You
had it.
have it?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was forwarded to the attorney's office.
Okay.
I was just wondering.
Sorry about that. I should have known that. There's been, under part of the review, Matt issued a letter or a memo, and I've already sat down and met with him and gone through it. We're working through the items that he has in his comment letter, and then also Mr. Schiller had issued a comment letter. We did meet with him once as well on it, and we're working through addressing those comments. So before we come back and request action on seeker in the preliminary plat, we'll have worked out those details. But in the meantime, we're here to present the project. I probably don't need to go into detail on it. I did at the sketch plan phase. We've got 10 lots on 75 acres. There's a 17-acre lake there. And in the zoning classification, the minimum lot size is 3 acres, which is pretty good size, but we're only proposing 2 3-acre lots on the project. There's another one that's 4.3 acres, and all the rest of them are between 5 and over 17 acres. So it's a very low-density project. Again, you've already approved the sketch plan. Now it's what I call the nuts and bolts. We just work out the details of the drainage and other things, and we're at the point we've submitted that, had a few questions, and we're resolving those. So again, we're happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Members, questions?
I have one. Where on the plan, on the other side of the street, is the United Refinery driveway? Or the United Concrete, I'm sorry, Union Concrete.
That's-
United Materials, yeah, United Materials. Where is it? I mean, what lots does it impact first?
The driveway?
Yeah, with truck traffic, and how many lots? Because the traffic probably comes out.
Tim, you've been out there quite a bit.
Well, it makes a left and then out to pavement. So,
Their truck traffic is somewhere around in, well, the cars and so forth are somewhere around in here. And the deliveries are down here.
so it has 2 places, so it's
Yeah.
all the way down to,
Yeah,
We're impacting lots 3, 4, and 5 with that traffic.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. I didn't see where you're pointing in.
3, 4,
5.
5.
There's
By
2 drive-
impacts, that
Right, this one, this one,
Matt's
and this
probably
one.
referring to is anything coming out
And then
towards
the
Traffic is
pavement
here,
of
truck
Peppermint.
here.
Yeah, so you've got the 2 driveways that come. Okay. Yeah, when I was out there, I mean, I see your site, and I see them across the street, and for me to figure out where the lot lines are,
well, there's not a lot of lot lines.
well, I get that, but you're outside the sewer district, so it's separate.
Yes, yeah.
So 3 acres is pretty good size, but they're on municipal water. They're public
Right,
water. There's
yes.
not water wells.
That's correct, municipal water.
That makes a difference, but did you see the letter from the police department?
No, but we heard about it before the sketch plan was approved.
Actually, this is a second letter.
Oh, a new one? No, I'm sorry, I did not see that.
I'll just read part of it. This is from Chief of Police, Bill Kern. I know that dust, noise, and heavy truck traffic are common with the western end of Peppermint Road due to the operations of United Materials and PM Peppermint on the south side of Peppermint Road. Although these issues exist year-round, they are particularly problematic during the warmer months when these sites are often operating long hours for up to 6 days per week. I believe that any homes built close to the road on the north side of Peppermint Road, as at least 4 of the homes shown on the sketch plan appear to be, will be greatly impacted by the dust and noise coming from those 2 businesses. Although a berm in front of the homes may mitigate the problem somewhat, I still believe that any residents who move in a house directly across from those sites will likely soon be complaining to the town board about the excessive amounts of dust and noise. and so on.
I think that's consistent with the comments he made prior to the sketch plan.
Yeah, he just kind of embellished, or
Sure. And I know
a
the
little more
board,
this time, but,
I know the board took that under consideration at the time of sketch plan approval. We talked last time about the fact that there is a, you know, an operating permit for the, their operation that I'm sure covers some of those nuisances, and maybe because there are no existing homes there now, maybe there isn't too much clamor about it. But if residents do have a problem with it after they move in, they can certainly bring it to the attention of the owner across the street to make sure they take care of it. And as Mr. Fischone mentioned at the last meeting as well, the town code does cover certain nuisances related to these types of businesses.
They could also just say, no, forget it, sue us.
Pardon me?
No, forget it, just sue us, or over something.
Right.
And then you have 3 or 4 homeowners going up against
Yeah.
a corporation who has been in existence for quite some time.
let's say we were there first.
Yeah, and I think it's a little unrealistic to think that the town is not going to have the manpower to keep enforcing
Sure.
a dust ordinance. The DEC is not going to enforce a dust ordinance. They don't have anybody to do it. The division there is down to very few people. You've probably been there more than me in the past 10 years. And I think putting a berm out front is not really going to mitigate. I don't have the plans out that showed where you're putting a berm in. That's a different set of plans, but, you know, some of them, like maybe on lot 7, they might be able to move the house farther. Labor would be a little closer to the pond without getting into problems with the pond area, but. And then you've got houses on pavement that 1 and 2 are set back better. 3 is a little farther, but I think lots 4, 5, and 6 are really problematic. I think.
They're probably shown at the minimum setback, right?
Yeah, but the pond is right here.
Come on,
The ones on pavement,
pond's well back from there. They could move those houses back.
Well, you've got to watch how close you get to the top of the edge.
right. We have them shown quite far back.
She's
They may
talking-
not necessarily.
She's talking about peppermint. not-
Oh, I thought she said pavement.
Yeah, I'm thinking 4, 5, lots 4, 5, and 6. You have some room, but the way your topo shows, you don't have all that much to move them farther back. I think they're a problem.
I suspect they will probably be close to the minimum setback, as shown on the plan.
As
And
shown, right.
this grading plan here shows the berms, berm here with the driveway between, berm here with the driveway between, likewise here, all the way down the line until we get, well, actually, there's one couple down here as well, but the ones that we have been talking about, 3, 4, and 5, all have extensive berms in the front.
How tall are the berms?
Let's see. Get my glasses off, and see
Yeah.
if that makes any sense. 358, 50 feet. We're talking about approximately 6 feet.
Well,
And then the owners can plant whatever they want to plant on top of it as they see fit.
do the berms sit oriented such that they would block the view of the driveway from across the street, or would it be a straight shot from driveway to driveway?
In this particular case here, again, we're showing where we would anticipate somebody building a home. Somebody moving in there can do whatever they want. They can build it, you know, slide it over in either direction. We just happen to be showing this house oriented a little bit towards the intersection. It may not go there. They may choose not to do that, but the driveway probably does, you know, slightly, well, obviously the driveway matches up with the cut in the berm, and the house is shifted a little bit further west. Here we've got the house shown solidly behind the berm. Likewise here, solidly behind the berm, solidly behind the berm, solidly behind the berm, all the way down. So again, it'll be up to the homeowners when they build, but we're showing how it can be done.
It's a can of worms. You're opening up, I mean, it's just the number of complaints coming in. I will give you my copy from the police department. You're welcome to take it.
Did you have any luck? I know last time you were here, I asked if you would be able to obtain the operating permit from the plant. Were you any luck getting that?
We haven't gotten it yet, but
You'd asked for it?
we have not. No, we will.
Anything else? Nothing? Matt? Councilman Mazer?
If you come back, would you be so kind as to put the exact locations of the driveways on your plans? Doesn't have to be on every.
They are?
but just-
No, the other driveway.
No,
Yeah,
from
sure.
From the other side. If you'd be so kind as to show exactly where they are,
Sure.
that might be helpful, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's fine. Okay, I guess if there's nothing else, we go,
I think we should table.
we have to table, right? Because we gotta do seeker and to a future meeting, right? So I will move to table to a future meeting
Second.
on the question. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much.
I don't know. It does look like, yeah, he's been here before. All right. Next up, discussion on the rezone of, and site plan for 6130 Broadway.
Hello again.
Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
Thank you. I'll dispense with the introduction. What I've shown here is just the display that we had put together to show the area, the portion of the property that we talked about extensively, and everyone felt that this was probably the best approach to the rezoning itself. We talked about that, we fully vetted that, but then we were asked to prepare the fully engineered site plan, which is what we did. October 5th at your meeting is when we talked about this last. And also, seeker had begun, actually, the coordination letters went out on June 20th, but the town attorney's office has determined that it'd probably be advisable to reopen the 30-day comment period, so that has started over again. And so, similar to the prior project, we're not in a position right now to be able to ask you to do anything with the project tonight.
Hence, we're calling it discussion.
What's that?
Hence, we're calling it a discussion.
Right.
Other than anything else.
So we've submitted the full site plan, all the engineering, drainage calculations, stormwater pollution prevention plan, although Mr. Schiller didn't receive that yet. We'll get another copy over to make sure he has that. This property's 44 acres. We're requesting a rezone of 30.7 acres. We're developing approximately an acre of it. 6,000 square foot building. The concept plan and the site plan match. I mean, we had taken our best shot at where we thought the stormwater pond would be over on this side, just an orientation a little bit. North is up, here's Broadway, and then here's the property. I showed you how it's more narrow. I almost said it's very narrow, but it's 271 feet. at the road, and then it opens up back here, so you can see.
What again was the width on the street?
I'm sorry?
How wide was the frontage on?
271 feet at the road.
Thank you.
Sure.
I heard 71, I didn't hear the 200.
So, and what we're showing is the building being back about 400 feet, driveway in, pavement area over here for truck maneuverability with access doors for the building on the side. You know what, actually, I brought there was some discussion. Mr. Fashone had asked for building elevations, current building elevations and floor plans. I can give those out so everybody has a copy. Sure.
There's a gate by the road. There's a gate, a functioning gate on this roadway. Did I see that on the plans, or am I thinking of something else?
I don't know if it shows a gate. We will have a gate to block the driveway.
Yeah, somehow I had a gate in my head, but really put a gate up. And then of this, about an acre, you're just mowing a little bit, you're leaving some of those natural areas you're crossing?
Yeah, it's going to be natural. 30 or 40 feet on either side of the driveway will be manicured lawn, as well as around the building. So it's going to be a nice approach, and then going to leave the natural stuff going on all the way around the perimeter. But yeah, 30 or 40 feet of lawn on both sides, all sides of the blacktop. I want a lot of well-manicured lawn. And we probably have a plan to put in a lot of trees.
Thank you. Well, I'm just asking because I can't stand manicured lawns, they make me crazy. I don't believe in lawn care products, and you do what you choose to do, but if you're putting in trees, please make sure you plant native species. No ginkgos or imported things.
Sure.
That'd be,
Yeah, well, it's a large piece of property, so there'll be a lot of nature
It'd be-
there today.
well, you're leaving that.
Yeah.
You're not messing with any of the back. With 44
Right.
acres, you're leaving about 43 of it alone.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of trees and shrubs on both sides, and you head north that will stay.
At your entrance.
Yeah, so it's really the blacktop, and then the lawn is going to surround the blacktop. So, but the idea is to keep it natural back there.
Yeah, you're gonna plant some trees across the front.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So driveway in, pavement area, 6,000 square foot building. We had shown the stormwater detention being over on the east side, the east side of the driveway, the septic system in the front. Actually, we had it in the back, and there was a good suggestion made here that we move things forward. So the final sketch plan looked like that, and then the site plan is basically mimicking that, showing stormwater detention over here, septic in front, building the same location. So again, nuts and bolts. You know, we're at the point where we've done the engineering, and we're just we'll work out any details that might need to get worked out relative to the engineering. But it's consistent with the sketch plan that we showed you, and again, we're here for discussion tonight.
As per our code enforcement officer, does the planning board want to require a SWIP?
We actually, one of the things that Matt and I talked about when we met is that we had incorrectly shown some of our contour lines going outside the limits of the disturbance. The disturbance area that we have is less than an acre, and with it being less than an acre, there would not be a state requirement for a SWIP. So we're tightening that up. We're making sure that that's clear. We're actually probably going to make a little adjustment to the septic system. We're showing two absorption lines that come out and push the grading out further. We're going to put in 3 lines and shorten that up. So we will be under an acre. Matt was correctly pointing out the fact that our grading did show that it was going to be greater than an acre.
Yeah.
And we're clarifying that now.
So Matt, you're okay with that then?
We can limit that disturbance to what is proposed.
Right. Okay.
And the other thing he asked us to do was show the gas line and the electric line to make sure that all stays within the limits of the disturbance. That usually doesn't get worked out until utility companies become involved, but if we show them schematically where we want it, we'll make sure that it stays within the limits of disturbance, again, to stay under that acre.
Building elevation, it looks like it would require a variance at this point.
Well, again, that was based on an interpretation that Matt made of the prior building elevation that we provided. We did not have a building height shown, and he did his best. Unfortunately, that's the position we put him in, to guess what the height was going to be, and it looked like it was going to be slightly over. But the building elevations that I just submitted to you shows that it's under the 35 acre, or
Okay.
yeah, 35 acres, 35 feet.
33 and 3/8.
Right.
Any other questions, members?
I'm just looking at plans that have this brush and trees area and I think, is there a swale that goes from?
East to west.
East to west at the driveway crossing.
Oh, the existing?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a ditch that runs across
It's a
there
little-
now.
So when you're talking about lawn area, is the lawn area then restricted to the areas outside of this so-called wetland swale, or is it all the way back?
We will keep that tighter in there, so we have less of an impact in that
Yeah,
area.
right.
But we will show some lawn adjacent to it. Yeah, we want to make sure there's some snow storage area as well.
I'm just thinking in terms of, we just had that presentation on water quality, and the more lawn you have, the less water quality you have. Lawn is bad in terms of depending what you do to it. And if you have areas that are not manicured, it usually means they're not. Short grass does nothing for water pollution. It doesn't save anything, it actually adds to it. So I'm just saying, the less you disturb, the better of all this brush and tree area, right? You're gonna leave most of it?
Yeah, I think you heard
You're
Mr.
leaving
Carroll
most of that.
talk
Now,
about
you're
how
gonna leave in the
he
back,
wants to
that, we're
preserve
not
it.
gonna go in there.
No, along the sides.
Yeah.
It's
and
his intent to leave as much as that as possible.
That's what I
Yeah,
thought.
but if it's too wet to cut, if it's naturally wet,
Then
it'll just
don't go there.
It'll gain its own identity, because we won't be able to cut it.
Right,
Yeah, so if there is that wet swell there,
it stays
that's
the wet.
uncuttable, we'll cut around it.
Right, why would you wanna cut it?
Well, we would be able to, if it's, I'm saying if it's natural, the nature will take over.
I'm one of those people that,
He's agreeing with you.
I get it, I get it. I'm just trying to figure out why. And you do have a gate on here, is that just
I think it's an old gate, it's up there right now.
is that the old
No
gate?
gate on the property.
There's no gate.
I'm actually, Mike, I'm gonna put just an open
Oh, I'm
bar
sorry.
of security.
Yeah, there is a
across
gate on the
front.
plan. There is a
Oh,
gate.
right.
I'm sorry.
Right, there is.
I should have known that. when you-
Yeah, I'm sorry. So it's just a security gate.
Yes.
And the gate will certainly be set back far enough so that any vehicles that come in will not be sticking out into the
You
shoulder.
can turn around.
Just gonna make it remote control.
Yeah, remote control, there you go. There you go.
How much truck traffic in and out?
Minimal, it's just coming from my location on Genesee Street. One or two times a week, they'll be coming in with, it's just a big Ford F-550, 15-foot box truck. So there's no tractor trailer traffic, it's just taking material from Genesee to Broadway and vice versa. You know, so it's just a matter of overstock items will be placed there. And when we sell them, we'll go get them on Broadway and deliver them. So it'll be minimal truck traffic. My pickup truck will be there every day, but the guys that work on Genesee Street will be there seldomly.
I've already said this. This is retail as well, or just storage? Just storage?
No retail.
Okay.
Other than those couple of trucks a week, the only people that'll be there is Mike, his own personal office will be there. Gonna be very low-key, very quiet.
All right, anything else?
It's turning out pretty good. Considering you wanted to rezone 44 acres.
Well,
I'm just
Well,
kidding, I'm just picking on Mike.
Tom, do you know when the seeker process would end on this? Or-
I apologize, I don't.
I'm not sure either. Do you know, Mike?
No, I didn't hear when it went out. We submitted on the 15th of November, so even if it went out immediately, we're still...
All right, so we're looking at January anyway.
Went on November 28th.
All right. So if there's nothing else,
Could I have
Sure.
a couple of questions, just for clarification purposes? This is going to be multiple use and occupancy of the building based on the floor plan that's provided. You've got 2 warehouse spaces on the first floor, and what appears to be a residential unit on the second floor. Is that correct?
It's an office on the second.
Office? Yeah. Make that clear, this is going to be a single use and occupancy building as opposed to multiple.
Correct. Yes, there is
Partition.
So it's just going to be a business occupancy is what you're intending?
Yes, my personal office, my personal space.
It'll be a business occupancy. Okay.
There, oh, I'm sorry, Matt, did you have any?
No, I just wanted to make that clear that it's the single use of the building.
so my understanding is when we do come back for this, or when you do come back, we would have to go through seeker, and provided there was a negative deck, then we would vote on the rezone, right?
Rezone,
Rezone,
and then site
and at
plan.
the same, not at the same time, but next, then we would vote on the site plan and recommend that to the town board.
Right,
I think I got the process.
that's the way I understood it as well. There is one item we wanted to bring up, and Matt advised us that it's really a planning board decision. We submitted a fee, a review fee for the project based upon the 1 acre that we are going to be developing for the site plan. And there could be an interpretation that the site plan fee, which is so many dollars per acre, should be based on the entire site. We submitted a site plan review fee of $1,100, and if it is taken, fee is calculated based upon the entire piece of property, it would be $8,600, which is huge. We're asking for an interpretation here that should be based on, granted, we based it on 1 acre of development, probably more appropriately the 3.7 acres that we're asking for the rezoning on, which would put the fee at like $1,600, much more reasonable than $8,600. We certainly understand how these fees come to pass, are developed. If you have a site where you're developing the entire site, there's buildings all over the place and asphalt and ponds and all kinds of things going on, obviously it's a much more involved project. And by all means, $8,600, that could be justified. But when we're talking about developing something that, we've got 3.7 acres there, and we're definitely going to be impacting less than an acre, we would ask that the fee be based upon that as opposed to the entire piece of property. It just turns out that he's developing it on a piece of property that happens to be 44 acres. It just doesn't seem fair that it would be based on that. So we're asking for that interpretation.
Well, my first comment is, I'm not sure if we're the ones to go to for this, but if we are, I'm in agreement with you. I don't think anything was done to the rest of the property. It's just staying the way it was, so I'm all in favor of paying for the 3.7 acres.
I agree, but I'm not sure we're the ones.
Business friendly, as best you can be within the bounds of it.
I appreciate that.
So for our opinion, I think it's that, but that's just our opinion. I don't know where it goes from there. Right?
What do you think, man? Is it, does that satisfy you then? I mean,
I have to see
right.
what
It talks about the parcel. We're rezoning a portion of a large AR parcel. Are we going to put it, is there a covenant being established for the remaining portion of the parcel for development rights? Are we going to continue to preserve the environmental aspects of that? It's partially wooded and scrubland. What are we doing with the rest of it? What's going to ensure the town that we don't continue with development as the market drives the development.
Well, it's zoned, it's not zone property.
It's not zoned properly, you're correct.
So it's, nothing's changed, that's the way I look at it. If they do something there, then they're doing it illegally.
True, or the application for rezone for more
Right.
space, whatever it is.
But, yeah, But then they get charged at that
I'm hinging
time.
this on the discussion of the development fees, the site plan application fees. The way the code reads, it reads it towards the parcel. If the parcel's 44 acres, you apply it to 44 acres. And it's interpretive. I would agree it's interpretive. Historically, it's been applied to the entirety of the parcel.
Actually, the code doesn't specifically say parcel. It's a little bit lacking. It just says based on 40, based on acreage. It doesn't say whether that's the acreage of the area you're developing or whether it says the acreage of the...
Well, I think the planning board has made their recommendation anyway. That would be in the minutes. I don't think we need to do a motion, but that might be a legal issue, Tom. I'm not sure if the planning board can actually make a recommendation. I don't think we've ever recommended changes in fees or anything like that before. I can't
Chairman,
remember.
this being the first time, I will take it very, very strongly under consideration.
Okay, thank you.
We're talking about the 3.7.
Right. Right, not just the 6,000 square feet there. There's 3.7 acres.
That'd be fine.
To me, that makes sense, because
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
rezoning that 3.7 acres, so I think it makes sense to pay it on that, but again, we're not,
That's the area we're focusing on and spending our review
Right.
time on. The rest of it, we're just saying, yep, there it is. Unless there's something else planned that, then you have to come back, so.
Thank you.
All right.
And it's a good.
Then I will move the table to a future meeting.
I'll second.
Question, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you very
Take
much.
care, happy holidays, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Matt, any discussion items? Ed?
Thanks, all.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, have a good night.
Training, there's plenty of training, hopefully you got some stuff in the, online. If you need training, remember you need your 4 hours. I will put in for 1 hour for tonight. I have some quick comments. So, I kind of wrote this down, I'll kind of wing it here, but I'm not sure if this is my last meeting or not. My term is ending, and I will not be reapplying for the chairmanship. I have indicated to the town board that I don't want to leave anyone hanging, so I would be willing to be a holdover until they decide what direction to go in next. So this might be my last chance, I don't know, I might be back, I might not be, but I'm proud of what this board has accomplished and how we don't always agree, but are willing to put forth good ideas. We've stayed away from politics and endeavored to do what's best for the town. I have 1 or 2 regrets on projects, but like Frank Sinatra, too few to mention. For those citizens that believe we always say yes to developers, not true. We have said no one way or the other, or at least slowed down developments such as Stutzman, Siebert, Brunk Road, Windsor Ridge, 2 projects on Harris Hill. Mike can talk about that. Projects on Broadway at Pavement, Broadway at Town Line, Genesee Street rezone, just to name a few. We strive to protect the residents and at the same time be business friendly, striving for a balance to establish and maintain an excellent quality of life. Some things that I'm disappointed about, in case I don't get to talk about them again. We never got around to establishing an architectural review board. That was my fault. The Balducci property on Pavement Road could have been sold to the town or somehow consolidated with Westwood Park, saving green space and limiting development. That was never done. I was hopeful the town board would move forward with a program similar to Clarence's green print, but that never happened. The town desperately needs a town planner, at least half-time. Other towns comparable to Lancaster in size or even smaller have planning departments or planners, and their planning board members make considerably more dollars. Not that we do it for the money, but The town needs to make sure materials are available to scan. We're working in that direction. I don't know if this has anything to do with, if we can do anything about this, but that Eastport site, it always bothers me that that just sits there. And I don't know how the IDA works, but it just seems like, can't they be more proactive about making something happen there? Here's a personal gripe. How can the chairman of the planning board not have a town email address? I have about 30,000 town emails on my personal address. I'm going to be investigated, like Hillary. The secretary saga this year was a debacle. So there's a few. I had that a little bit. I probably have some more to say, but as Ebenezer Scrooge said, we can discuss that over a bowl of hot punch. So thanks to the members, both current and past, and to our town experts that we rely on to make good decisions. Ed Schiller, Matt Fiscione, Emily Orlando, and our attorney department, and our town board liaison, Councilmember Dave Mazer, who's been terrific. And of course, special thanks to Cindy Maciejewski for going above and beyond the call of duty. Merry Christmas, and maybe I will see you in 2023, maybe not.
How many years, Phil?
Thank you.
15 years in January.
Wow. How many meetings missed?
One.
I'm not out of line here, but I just wanted to say that I hope you do come back, Neil, but if you choose not to, as a representative of the development world, you've always been great to work with, fair, very fair and open, discussing things. It's been a pleasure.
All right, thanks, Mike, I appreciate it. All right, we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you. All right, we can continue the discussion. Over a bowl of hot punch.
You do have one more meeting.
No,
This is the last one.
there's no meeting in,
No,
no other meeting in December.
That's beautiful.
It's our last meeting until next month. We don't have any more time for January.
I decided I did put that.
Because just based on the discussion,
So Neil, how does that,
Putting in your letter? Are you done?
That's correct.
Oh, bummer. Bummer.
I would. If they wanted me, like I said, I'd be a holdover. If they wanted me to be a member, I don't want to be a town, I don't want to be chairman.
I don't want to be
It's too much, it's gotten to be almost a full-time job. If I wasn't retired, I wouldn't be able to do it.
because we don't have a professional planner on that. So Ed Crawford